Ending my 5-year marriage over a paternity test my MIL requested. I'll try my best not to make this a word wall. I don't even know where to start. This whole situation is embarrassing, and I am just done with it. I've been with my husband for 5 years now, married for 3. Long story short, his mom has always been overwhelming and bold with her input on everything, to put it nicely. I genuinely think it's unfair to be mad at your partner for something they didn't do themselves. He can't control what his mom does or says. But what's also unfair is him not addressing it when I am clearly uncomfortable or upset. Instead, he just talks me into brushing it off or going along with it. I have never, nor would I ever, go back and forth with my MIL. It's just not worth it. If she makes a snarky comment, I brush it off. If she offers a better way to do something, I just tell her, thanks for the suggestion, but we're fine. That saying, when you marry someone, you marry their family, is painfully true. But I believe each spouse should keep their own side of the family in check. I deal with my parents and their shenanigans, and I expected him to do the same. He never did. Instead, he always asked me to give her some grace. Well, that's hard to do when that person is insulting you. For a while now, she has been making comments about how my son doesn't look like my husband when he was a toddler, basically accusing me of cheating. Rightfully so, that upset me. Sorry, my genes are strong, what do you want me to tell you? I was short with my husband because he didn't address how out of pocket and disrespectful this whole thing was. A week ago, my husband, well, soon-to-be ex-husband, told me he would be doing a paternity test. Not because he doubted our son was his, but to shut his mom up. Yes, exactly what you read. I don't know which is worse, him outright accusing me of cheating or this nonsense. But all I know is that this is audacious. I didn't cheat, and I am not concerned about the test results. I wasn't going to stop him from taking a DNA test or whatever, but I just knew I didn't want to deal with this anymore. I started looking for an apartment and contacted a lawyer the day after he brought up the DNA test. Since then, I've been acting more than normal. We'll be getting the results in 2 days. I can't wait. He will also be getting divorce papers with them. I know for a fact he won't see it coming. I tried my best to make this whole thing work and to manage my relationship with my MIL as gracefully as possible. But thinking about it, it's not just my MIL that's the problem, it's also how he handles things. And side note, I have never been more glad that I didn't quit my job when I got married. He makes more than enough to support us financially, and I did consider leaving, thinking I'd get bored. But I only have to be on site 2 days a week, I love my job and the company, so I stayed. Best decision I ever made. He is unreliable, to say the least. I know divorce can be hard on kids, but I've lived the other side. Growing up with 2 parents who hated each other and fought violently almost all the time is just as hard, maybe even harder. They thought staying together was for the kids. Newsflash, it wasn't. It was traumatizing. I can't remember if I read this somewhere or if my therapist told me, but I once heard, when you fight with your spouse, it shouldn't be me versus you. It should be me and you versus the problem. But that's impossible when you start hating that person. I don't want my son to grow up in that environment because I can tell you one thing, I just can't stand my husband anymore. I don't know if this is a weird way to say it, but I don't respect him anymore. If that makes sense. I just see an unreliable man, and I know for a fact our fights won't be the same as before. I would have said, what a waste of 5 years, but I have a sweet and smart little gremlin now. Having a child really pushes you to be better and do better, so I can't complain. Update, September 21st, 2023. Here to update you, since a lot of people were interested. But real quick, a comment about my last post, if you're going through something serious, think twice before posting it. Obviously, I expected people to tell me I was overreacting or even that JEM invent on Vice or Reddit. But there are also people who will leave comments like, you're a disgusting piece of shit. I hope he takes your child from you in the divorce and you realize what kind of monster you are, and then go about their day. That was my cue to stop reading comments that night. The update. The day he was supposed to receive the results, I called my FIL and invited them over that evening. My husband was at work when he got the results. He sent them to me and said he would talk to his mom to finally put this to rest. I told him I had already invited them over and was just waiting for my apology before I left. I asked him to come home so we could talk before they arrived. He called, and I told him straight up, this isn't working for me anymore. I had already spoken to an attorney and filed for divorce. It might be more expensive than a paternity test, but it would be far more effective in making his mother happy. And no, I don't care that he was at work when I told him. I don't think you would have either. He left work and came home. Long story short, we had a spectacular fight. He said I wasn't thinking about our son and was overreacting because it's not like he went behind my back. And if he had known I was this upset, he wouldn't have done it. But he did know. We fought about it when he first brought it up. He just didn't care. When I gave him the divorce papers, he said he wasn't signing anything and that he'd ask his mother to apologize when his parents arrived. But his mother? She said, I have nothing to apologize for. I wouldn't apologize for having suspicions. I didn't accuse her of anything, and she can leave if she wants to. So, that's that. I left that night because I wasn't going to get an apology, and my husband didn't seem to understand that his enabling was the reason I wanted a divorce in the first place. Later, he told his parents he'd still visit them but wouldn't allow them over unless she apologized. She wasn't amused. She said, you're taking my son away, and some WH_E will take your son away too. Talking to her is like talking to a wall. All she knows is how to insult or be passive-aggressive on a good day. Where we stand now. We're not getting a divorce. We talked the next day. He said I can always file for one, but we should at least try couples counseling because he doesn't want to co-parent. Edit, he doesn't want to lose his son, plain and simple. It's not like a divorce would mean he couldn't see his son, but whatever. He admitted that he was wrong, especially knowing his mother, and promised to shut her down next time. But what can I do with just words? I hope counseling helps him understand that marriage is between two people, not three. People in my last post made me question, was I actually ready for divorce, or was I just mad? At the time, it felt like the only solution. But if counseling can help, I'll try. If not? I'm not stuck. I'll take my son and leave. That's where we stand.